Okay, I'm against Article 13, and here is why. Freedom of speech and expression. I feel that it is a form of legal censorship because what they're doing is going against the founding principles of the EU, ironically, is the old European Union here, because it's going to be freedom of movement and freedom to access all services. That's restricting freedom of expression and speech, which was something that the EU was founded upon as well. And it goes against the core of the EU values, according to the EU. But there's still, and 11 countries are not happy with Article 13 and another article called Article 11, which is dealing with other forms of copyright law and companies having to be responsible for what they host on their websites. So it's going to be interesting. Now, the terms of fair use under copyright law are a hot debate at the moment on YouTube and many other websites, and there's been a huge issue with copyright violations. I understand that. But this law is reactionary and ill thought out. There's a reason why 11 nations inside the EU, not the UK ironically enough, have voted against Article 13 in its current form and opposing amendments in the EU Parliament. 11 nations. So it may not be yet passed, but it's still a proposal and the final text is being worked out. But the last time copyright law in the EU was updated was 2001. A lot has happened since 2001. The Twin Towers have gone down. The rise of MySpace, the fall of MySpace, the rise of Bebo, the fall of Bebo, the rise and continued rise and stranglehold of social media by Facebook, the rise of Twitter. YouTube has completely transformed over the last 10, 15 years, completely. Lots more social media sites now up there. There's also many more news websites. BuzzFeed is a big example of a website I hate, but yeah, there's going to be economic impacts. It's not just YouTubers and Instagrammers. 500 billion could be wiped off the world economy if Article 13 passes in its current form. 500 billion. And as I said, some people do fear it's a form of censorship, and it is, because it's shutting down the freedom of expression. Memes. Memes are hilarious. They're political satire. They've been around for a minimum of 2,000 years, if not earlier. It's called hieroglyphics. Yes, even the Egyptians and the Romans realised what a meme was. And people are like, well, what about political satire? We're not allowed to satirise and have that freedom of expression if we are frustrated. The freedom of comedy, the freedom to offend. It's called freedom of speech. And some people are feeling that is the meme law. They're calling it the meme law. And yeah, this has been ongoing for about a year now. They're calling it censorship. And there are those who are for Article 13 saying, well, the terms of use of YouTube work well. No, they don't. No, they don't. YouTube has got many problems with its terms of use and its fair use copyright policy. It really does. And I regularly on Twitter criticise YouTube for yet another channel being demonetised or having a false copyright strike and YouTube doing nothing about it. I regularly criticise the way YouTube have handled the monetisation or demonetisation policy since the Logan Paul incident. I was affected by that. I've lost an income. People are saying, well, that's a good terms of use. No, it's Article 13 beta. That's what it could look like, is more YouTubers, more social media who make their living on social media going out of business. And it is hard for young people to find work out there in Europe. It is. There's vast unemployment in some parts of Europe, and a lot of people do rely on social media for an income. The economic impacts on young people are going to be massive. The economic impact on big companies are going to be massive as well, who employ people and give the opportunities to young people. Massive. Article 11 covers the company side of how they have to do their kind of upkeep on the copyright law and pay a fee and things like that, and countries are disagreeing on that as well. 5 million people so far, I think it's now nearly 6 million, have signed a petition against Article 13. I am one of them. I'm not doing this for YouTube. No, YouTube has done enough damage. I'm doing this for every person who believes in net neutrality. My final point, net neutrality is at risk. No one country has the right to dominate the internet. The EU is a bloc of 28, soon to be a bloc of 27, of course, with the UK leaving. Net neutrality is all about freedom from political interference and political, machinations, where they are dictating what can and cannot be allowed on the internet. Totalitarian regimes interfere with the internet. Look at China. Look at Myanmar. Look at Cambodia. They regularly shut down social media. Yeah. Mainstream media also complains about social media because social media sometimes gets a story out before the mainstream media can spin their web of lies. Yes. And yeah, freedom of political interference. This is the EU interfering and possibly censoring millions of people, and 5 million people have signed a petition, and 11 countries so far are objecting against Article 13 in its current form, saying actually there are problems with this law because it has been rushed through. It is reactionary, and there is still the power of veto as well. Countries can still veto at the final stage. We're only at stage 1. There are other stages down the line. I believe the earliest we're going to have movement is May. So it's not going to happen just yet. And then individual countries have the opportunity to veto the policy before they enact it into law. So there is still a year or so before this actually gets forced upon people. But it's a real issue. That petition rising. If the EU doesn't pay attention, it could have problems with people being very dissatisfied with what the EU stands for. There's already massive social divisions. And while I'm a social media user, the freedom of expression is vital. The moment you start shutting that down is the moment you create division and you create distrust. And there's enough distrust and division across Europe right now. We don't need any more. And the economic impacts, that should say enough. If that's going to wipe off 500 billion plus from the world economy, that is not good. Considering that Germany's just avoided a recession and France is in chaos. I don't really think the EU could afford to lose 500 billion, considering that the UK is leaving with its 33 billion that it net contributes. An extra 500 billion in tax or profits lost and jobs lost. They can't tax the unemployed. So, yeah, mainstream media, mainstream internet web giants, even people like me, your average YouTuber, are against Article 13. It's far more complicated than what I put on the board. I've tried to keep it simple. The thing is, they haven't updated the law regularly. They should have regularly reviewed the law since 2001. They haven't. They've decided to react towards last year, in the middle of last year, to some of the copyright issues. They've really reacted at a knee-jerk reaction, and this is what I don't like about policy at the moment by politicians and people in positions of governance of sport and the internet and regulation. They're being very reactionary. They're not being proactive to avoid problems down the line. They're reacting to problems after they've happened, and they actually seem to make the situation worse, not better. And this could lead to further issues down the line, where those who are in favour of it now will turn against it. Trust me, when they see their revenues dropping. So there's a lot to be worried about. And net neutrality is the big one, and freedom of speech. That's my view on it. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts below. Now, I'm normally a sports YouTuber, but I'm saying this because I'm saying this for all YouTubers out there. We need to not do this for YouTube, the website, but for us. We already have enough issues with the service that we currently have. This will put more hurdles in the way and could kill off a large proportion of our favourite YouTubers. Now, my channel itself won't directly necessarily have problems because I tend to avoid copyright issues. I don't have custom thumbnails. I have just stills from the video. I don't use any images. I don't use any match footage. But channels that I subscribe to and some of my subscribers could be shut down. And I will have a smaller audience if, YouTube is blacked out. I really will. And that will affect me in the long term. But directly, no, but indirectly, yes, I am also affected because I am part of the online community. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Place your thoughts below. And I will have some more videos for you soon.